Did you know that your body is carrying around a fascinating ancient reflex that dates back millions of years? Yep, I'm talking about goosebumps, those tiny bumps that appear on your skin when you're cold or emotional. But here's the real kicker. Goosebumps aren't just for show. They're a relic from our evolutionary past with surprising connections to animals, emotions, and survival. So, buckle up, because today we're diving into the fascinating world of why humans get goosebumps. First, let's set the stage with the basics. Goosebumps are medically known as piloerection or the pilomotor reflex. They occur when small muscles at the base of hair follicles, called erector pili muscles, contract. This causes the hair to stand on end, leading to those characteristic bumps on your skin. But have you ever wondered why this happens in the first place? To answer that, we need to travel back to a time when humans weren't so, well, human. In our animal ancestors, think furry mammals like chimpanzees or early primates, goosebumps served a critical purpose. When animals are cold, the raised hairs trap a layer of air, creating an insulating layer to help preserve body heat. This is still super effective for creatures like cats, dogs, and even birds who fluff up their feathers for warmth. On the other hand, when animals feel threatened or scared, the puffed up hairs make them look larger and more intimidating to predators or rivals. You've probably seen your cat do this when hissing at another animal, right? Now, here's where humans come into the picture. At some point in our evolutionary history, as we lost the thick body hair that our ancestors had, the functional need for goosebumps started to disappear. However, the mechanism stuck around, a classic example of what scientists call an evolutionary leftover. So, while goosebumps might not help us survive against a saber-toothed tiger today, they still kick in when triggered by certain stimuli. But believe it or not, it's not all useless. Let's dig deeper into these triggers. There are generally three main reasons you might get goosebumps: cold temperatures, emotional responses, and specific physical sensations. First up, cold temperatures. This one ties directly back to our animal ancestors. When your body detects cold, your nervous system sends signals to those erector pili muscles to contract, as if trying to create that warm, insulating air layer. The irony here? It doesn't do much for us anymore because we simply don't have enough body hair. Thank goodness for sweaters and jackets, right? The second trigger is perhaps the most fascinating: emotions. Have you ever felt goosebumps while listening to an incredible piece of music, watching an emotional scene in a movie, or remembering a deeply meaningful moment? Scientists call this phenomenon frisson, often referred to as a skin orgasm. It's your body's way of physically reacting to a surge of emotion, usually something awestruck, poignant, or exhilarating. The exact mechanisms here are complex, but involve the release of dopamine, a feel-good neurotransmitter, along with your nervous system kicking into overdrive. This also ties back to our evolutionary need to react strongly to significant events, like a warning sound from an animal or an intense bonding moment with a group. Lastly, let's not forget the physical sensations. Sometimes, something purely tactile, like a cool breeze or brushing your arm lightly, can trigger goosebumps. This happens because your nervous system is incredibly sensitive and likes to err on the side of caution, overreacting to ensure nothing harmful is going unnoticed. Ever heard of the term, better safe than sorry? That's your body's mantra when it comes to goosebumps. But wait, there's more. Researchers have discovered that goosebumps may actually have a role in modern human health too. Recent studies suggest that those same erector pili muscles may help regulate the stem cells that rejuvenate hair follicles. Kinda crazy, right? So while goosebumps might seem like a useless leftover from the past, they could still be playing an active, albeit tiny, role in how your skin and hair develop. Pretty wild, huh? Let's shift gears for a moment and talk about the emotional dimension of goosebumps. Why do they feel so connected to powerful experiences? Some researchers believe it's because goosebumps are a part of what's known as fight or flight response. Imagine you're hearing a spine-chilling ghost story or witnessing a moving emotional moment. Your brain processes this as a heightened situation, and your body reacts accordingly to prepare for any sudden action. Even if you're just watching a tearjerker movie, your body is still gearing up for an imaginary scenario. That's how deeply wired this reflex is into our nervous system. What's also fascinating is how goosebumps can play a role in social bonding. Studies have found that shared emotional experiences, like watching a crowd sing in unison at a concert or witnessing a breathtaking natural phenomenon as a group, are more likely to give you goosebumps. In those scenarios, the emotional intensity and sense of connection with others can amplify the physiological reaction. It's almost like your body is saying, "Hey, this moment is so special, we need to physically mark it." The chills you feel while watching an Olympic athlete triumph or listening to a speech that moves you. It all circles back to how deeply intertwined our emotions are with our physical experiences. Speaking of connection, there's also evidence that these chills may help us bond with others. Some scientists propose that showing visible signs of emotional responses, like goosebumps, could have been a signal to early humans. This signal might have communicated feelings such as fear, awe, or kinship, helping groups better understand and empathize with each other. Think of it as a kind of body language, albeit a very subtle one. Now, you might be wondering, are humans the only ones who experience this? Short answer, not really. While our version of goosebumps is unique in some ways, plenty of animals still rely on the reflex for its original purposes. Have you ever seen a porcupine's quills puff up? Or noticed how a dog raises its fur along its spine when it feels threatened? That's basically their version of goosebumps, fine-tuned for survival. Even birds, though feathered, experience a similar effect, known as tyloerection, to trap air and stay warm. We're all connected by this quirky, fascinating biological reflex. So, what does all of this mean for us today? Well, for starters, goosebumps are an incredible reminder of the intricate, interconnected systems that keep our bodies running. They're proof that evolution isn't always about discarding the old to make room for the new. Sometimes, it's about adapting and repurposing what we already have. And perhaps more importantly, goosebumps illustrate how deeply ingrained our emotions are in our physical being. Whether you're shivering in the cold or moved by a powerful symphony, those tiny little bumps tie you to millions of years of history, biology, and shared human experiences. So the next time you get goosebumps, take a moment to appreciate the science and the history behind them. They're not just a biological oddity, they're a conversation between your past, present, and emotions. Who knew such a simple reflex could be so utterly fascinating? And yes, you can bet that I'll be looking at my own goosebumps just a little differently from now on. Thanks for joining me today on this journey into the amazing why of goosebumps. Hit that like button if you learned something new, and don't forget to subscribe for more fascinating why facts. Stay curious, and I'll see you in the next episode.